you mentioned other contributors. How many contributors, and do you have full-time staff?
Mm-hmm. We do have most of our full-time staff is shared between multiple websites. But we also have some part-time helpers, and then we also have our freelancers and regular contributors. For people who write and contribute articles to the site, I usually say we have, at any given time, about 20. In a given week, we have our regular columnists. I think we have about 5 or 6 working right now that write weekly pieces. We have a few who write a few articles a week. And then we have others who, every now and again, will contribute something, maybe once a month, maybe once every 2 months, whenever they come across an important story that they really want to dig down deep into. So the range is out there, but I would say, akin to an average newsroom, we are probably about 6 or 7 people.
Well, with the contributors, is there a way that, or do you have to verify if there is some information that's put out there on maybe a controversial thing in town, or how, what kind of screening process?
Of course. Well, for one, we do, anyone who works for us has to understand the journalistic code, which is we report the facts and only the facts, and we report them straightforward. So if someone begins to work for us and we see that that's not working out, then we go our separate ways, or they basically turn into an opinion columnist, which is also something that's important as part of the community discussion. But really, again, the buck always stops with the editor. It's about fact-checking, making sure that things make sense. If something seems out of place, you double-check your facts. A lot of times that means, if one of my reporters is covering something and I see something that doesn't seem to line up, well, then I'll give a call directly to the source, knowing everyone in town and being able to just go to people and say, hey, my reporter was here checking in on this. Is this what you said? Does this line up? Do these facts make sense? And of course, anytime anyone says something, you always want to double check it.
Yeah. Do you find sometimes that you have to fight the stereotype of the blog?
This was something that from day one, in fact, I think all online publications really wrestle with, but day one in Brookfield as well. As I said before, there were some who were a little bit skeptical of us coming in. The blog, I think the blog stigma comes from the early days in online news, when community journalism online was really about local people who cared and wanted to get information out there, wanted to let people know what was going on in town, but didn't necessarily have the journalism background to stay to the facts, or even, I don't mean that in a derogatory way, but, to have that kind of discipline, to stay away from letting your opinions seep into things. Being online, because of that history of online information, as soon as you are considered to be biased, as soon as you're considered to be inaccurate, you're immediately labeled that way, and it's really difficult to recover from. As soon as people begin to think that you are a blog, you lose some of that reliability. And again, I don't think you can really get it back without years of work. So that was something from day one we really tried to stay away from. We tried to show that, one, we were going to be reporting the facts only, that we weren't going to be biased about it, and 3, that it wasn't just me. I wasn't one guy in the community just talking about what was going on, that we are a team of reporters and viewpoints, and that this really is a group effort and not just one person, sitting in their bathrobe.
I believe that you do have good contact with the other editors in the area, because I recall after my unsuccessful bid for state representative last year, I actually received a phone call from the editor in Bethel, which I found quite interesting. How much contact do you have with the other editors, and do you compare notes, or do you do simultaneous stories?
Certainly. In fact, I speak to, so the way that Patch is kind of broken up editorial-wise to manage things is we're in various regions. So our region here currently includes Danbury, Bethel, Southbury, Woodbury, Middlebury, which is one website, Newtown, Monroe, Oxford, and Naugatuck. And so as that group, we talk to each other just about every day, and especially if there's stories of cross-interest. For instance, you mentioned Bethel. We have a lot in common with Bethel from the State House. We also have Newtown. There's constantly interesting things coming back and forth. with Newtown and Danbury as well. You know, always in communication with those people, and we share stories that are of local interest to both towns. Not to mention sports, which has tons of crossover. You know, if we're playing Newtown, it's obviously going to show up on both sites.
Sure, sure.
We also started a few months ago, actually I guess it would be about mid-January, we started what we call the Patch-cast. It's a daily video for the entire region. Runs at 6 o'clock at night, and it's akin to the 6 p.m. news for the region. Far more localized than it would be for all of Connecticut, but it really, you know, lets you know what's going on, not just in Brookfield, but the surrounding towns,
right,
and how it affects us.
Yeah. I do want to tell the audience that we are taping on a Wednesday, and we needed to tape a little earlier than normal because Aaron has to get back to do a Patch-cast later. Finally, is there anything else that you'd like to add that we haven't covered or that I might have left out?
Well, I guess just to say that I really hope that the Patch, whether it's me as editor in the future, as it stays around, if things change, I do hope that it becomes an important part of the community. I do believe that it can be a place, not just, like I said before, as a forum for everyone to come together, to discuss issues, to get their opinions out in the open, to offer solutions, but also as a record of the town. 10 years from now, if things continue as they are, we will have every major sporting event, every major community event in town, every election, every budget vote, every Board of Selectmen meeting and what was said. And that will really be a record of the history of town. That will be readily available, and again, you know, going back to what we talked about earlier with news online, one of the other nice things is that it can be archived forever. Having unlimited space, you can check on the first story we wrote back in March 17th of 2010. And you can read that story just like it was posted yesterday. And so these things are there forever and can really last. So I do hope that as much as we try to be a part of the community and help the community, cover the community, that they respond in kind and really get involved and enjoy the Patch.
Yeah. I do know in our pre-interview for you know, you're coming on the show, you had mentioned I think you'd started as a history major, mm-hmm, and I think you made the comment that you wanted to be part of or you know, experience the history and be writing the history. Mm-hmm. You know, how is that all working out?
It's working out well.
You think it was a good choice?
It was. You know, I do. I love history. I love reading about events of the past and how things unfolded. But like you said, I really wanted to write the history rather than read about what other people wrote about as things happened. And it has. It's been interesting. I actually was fortunate enough to cover the inauguration of President Obama. And it was interesting to, you know, be on the ground for that. And I have the record of not just being there, but reporting it and putting it out there from the perspective of the town I was covering at the time. And it's a very fulfilling thing to be able to do that, produce it, and then see it out there and see it appreciated. Yeah.
At that time, then you were still in New York, I believe.
Yes, at that time I was in New York. Yeah.
Whereabouts was it? Long Island where you were doing?
It was. I was covering the town of East Hampton at the time.
Okay. Oh, nice gig, I guess.
It wasn't too bad. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're going to wrap up our show now. Again, I'd like to thank our guest, Aaron Boyd from Patch, for appearing on the show. You can check out his online news at, and can we check it out?
Brookfield.patch.com.
Okay, thank you very much. Again, I really appreciate your time and being able to work us in your schedule.
Thank you, Bruce.
I also want to remind our viewers that our air dates are on Charter Channel 21 and are on Mondays at 4:30 and Thursdays at 7 p.m. We also post segments up on YouTube, and you can find them at www.youtube.com/Brookfield Public Advo. You may also contact us at brookfieldpublicadvocate@yahoo.com. We'd love to hear from you, whether it's comments on shows, ideas, topics for future shows, or even guests that you'd like to see. Again, thank you for watching, and good night. Well, I think that went well.